have 4 kids at home. I'm excited to be anywhere. Where my mom's at. Any moms in here tonight? Just tired of making meals for your family, right? The last 365 days of making meals. I'm tired. I'm burnt out. The way I would describe being a mom this last year in the pandemic, it's like a teen mom that waitresses at the Tilted Kilt in a shitty town. The food is terrible. The customers are terrible, but you can't quit because you got knocked up by the owner. You guys, I'm excited. My parents got vaccinated. Give it up for them. Thank you. Anyone else? Like, I was tired of tracking their whereabouts this whole pandemic. Anyone else have slightly unhealthy parents just not following the rules this whole time? Just out there rolling the dice? Like, my parents are not really like movers and shakers. Like, before the pandemic, if I'd ever call them during the day, they were like laying down, watching TV all the time. They were like the grandparents from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Just like always horizontal. And then peak pandemic, Chicago's on lockdown, I call them, I'm like, hey, what are you guys up to? They're like, yeah, we just drove to Valparaiso, Indiana. We're gonna go to Costco. They got a sale on Adirondack chairs. I'm like, yeah, that's essential. Why don't you two type 2 diabetics get your asses home? Better yet, why don't you grab a couple caskets while you're there? That's where you're heading. Went on a vacation with my parents to celebrate their vaccination. I learned a lot about my childhood when I traveled with my parents. Like, they told us that when we used to take road trips and they would get tired, they would stop at rest stops to take naps, and my brothers and I would play at the playground at the rest stop. Anyone seen a playground at a rest stop lately? Just like the backdrop for all of the murder podcasts. Also called Kidnappers Row. You know, my mom's like, yeah, it was different back then. I'm like, in the 90s, before there was advanced technology and social media, pretty sure it was a prime time for kidnapping. There's just like a rusty slide, a bunch of condoms on the ground. Great place for your kids to play. Like, I imagine the kidnappers are approaching us. They just like look to my parents' car. They're like, no way, that's gotta be the FBI. There's no way. That is a sting operation. These people are not just sleeping while their kids hit the swings. My parents also used to send us with notes to the gas station to buy them cigarettes. Another class act, anybody? I remember being like an 8-year-old little girl, like my friends would be riding their bikes with a basket to the gas station. They'd have like candy bars, and I would have a carton of Virginia Slims. I imagine another time I probably dodged kidnapping, because nobody takes a kid that smokes, you know what I mean? It's too expensive. They get me in the back of the car and take the duct tape off. I'm just like, you got a light? My parents are getting older. I feel like I'm at the age now where like I'm parenting them, like I'm in charge of their behavior. My dad told us recently that he is gonna start carrying a weapon for safety. My dad is 70 years old, he's 6'6", he's about 370 pounds, so he's big both ways. Okay? He looks like Dave from Wendy's and he dresses like Tony Soprano. Not exactly like a crime-fighting makeup. I'm like, where are you gonna carry this weapon, Dad? He's like, I'll wear it in my waistband. I was like, you're wearing sweatpants up to your nipples right now. Like, if my dad's dressing up, he's wearing like a Hawaiian shirt and some NBA tearaway pants. Like, I don't know. He's like, all right, fine, I'll get an ankle holster. I was like, yeah, and wrap it right around your compression socks. That's... Oh. We couldn't even do Venmo in my family. I put Venmo on my dad's phone. 24 hours later, he had requested money from everybody in his phone book. What are you, like a geriatric bookie? You're just collecting? A couple of my dumbass cousins actually paid him. Had a baby last year, trying to get in shape. And I feel like moms, it's not about getting in shape, it's really like, no one ever tells you this after you have children, like, not everything goes back on the same shelf. You know what I mean? Like, after my daughter, large chest, no butt, beer belly, like, I actually looked like a teen mom that worked at the Tilted Kilt for a while. My hair stopped growing on my head and all over my face. Like, I'm Irish, I've always had a little bit of a mustache, but now I have a goatee. That's nice. trying to buy clothes. I don't know, ladies, if you guys have noticed, the fashion industry's just decided to cut shirts right in half. Can't just buy a shirt, everything's cropped. Crop tops have invaded this country. Forget about COVID. Crop tops have just bruised the spirits of women all over the Midwest. It's freezing here. We eat nachos out of baseball helmets. What is anyone doing in Chicago wearing a crop top? Everything is cropped. Cropped shirts, cropped tank tops, cropped sweaters, cropped turtleneck sweaters. Those are my favorite. Where the hell are you wearing a cropped turtleneck sweater? It's like a family dinner. You're just like, hey, Uncle Pat, pass those potatoes. Check out my little tummy. I bought this the other day. You guys like this shirt, ladies? This is a dress. This was in the dress section. It's a dress. Bathing suits. Wow, they're getting us with bathing suits too, guys. Like the bathing suit industry, they used to make a front and a back to a bathing suit. Now they just make a front and a front. They just think we're all like avatars. Like I went to a bathing suit store, a real store, and the woman's like, so what kind of fit are you looking for? Like resort, beach, pool? I was like, I don't know, do you have anything back there for girls that swim near their uncles? Vanessa? Do you got anything back there so that if I bend over, my father-in-law doesn't see my small intestine? Got anything like that? I don't know. I'm getting older. I'm at this age now where the girls that I work with, they're on my team, they're 15 to 20 years younger than me, so I'm trying to figure out where I fit. Like I thought I was cool. They're woke. I'm exhausted. They're all dieting. They're all wearing crop tops, thong bikinis. They have all this anxiety. Always have anxiety. I'm so anxious. Like we didn't even have anxiety when I was in my 20s. We just had nightmares during the day. And diarrhea. Like that's just being an adult, Becky. Grow up. They talk about anything and everything at work. These girls I work with, they talk about sex, they talk about drugs, and they have like code word for things. Like Alice, that means mushrooms. Mary Jane, that means marijuana. White girl, that means coke. Eating butts, that just means eating butts. So one girl, Sarah, talks about her and her boyfriend like to eat butts on the weekend. I thought she was talking about smoking cigarettes. Funny thing, the irony is like they're very reckless with their bodies. They talk about it at work, but they also want to like save the world. You know, like Sarah's very into the environment. She wants to implement a no plastic policy at our company. I was drinking out of a water bottle, and she came up to me and she's like, hey, you know, every time you drink a sip out of that plastic water bottle, you're ingesting feces, poop particles. I was like, Sarah, unless your boyfriend Danny's wiping with bleach, that makes two of us. I'm glad you guys like that one. All the girls I work with, they get what's called FOMO, and if you guys are familiar with this, is fear of missing out. They want to be included and invited to everything. And I'm like, don't worry, when you get to my age, you're going to get what's called NOMO. And that is when people start to invite you to gender reveal parties on the weekend in July, or like, hey, Ashley, go in and include me on that. NOMO. NOMO. When you get to our age, you start getting invitations to the mail, communions, baptisms, housewarming. It's like getting a letter from the IRS. You're just like, what the hell is this going to cost me? You guys, I'm Maggie DePalo. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks so much for coming out.